At 20 minutes past midnight, the backwash tank at water treatment plant in Marmol exploded. The tank roof, weighing 5.5 tons, was blown off and landed approximately 260 meters away, in between piping. The tank body also lifted from its foundation and tilted, resulting in the entire inventory of the tank spilling both inside and outside of the bund wall. Fortunately, no one got injured, as it was late in the night and the water treatment plant was functionally shut down. To fully understand this incident, we first need to briefly understand the water treatment process at Marmol, which mainly consists of two systems. Marmol production station produces crude oil, along with some associated water. This water is oily in nature and undergoes two-stage treatment in the water treatment plant before being reused or re-injected. The primary treatment stage consists of induced gas flotation, or IGF, and secondary treatment consists of nutshell filters. The oily water enters the water treatment plant at a high pressure and runs through first stage treatment at induced gas flotation. Here, fuel gas is bubbled through the oily water stream to enhance the separation of oil and water. Oil and other impurities start floating and are skimmed from the top and routed to the oil skim tank. The primary treated water from the bottom of IGF units is pumped for secondary treatment in the nutshell filters, which are filled with special beads to absorb the remaining oil particles. The cleaned water after secondary treatment is routed via the buffer tank and either re-injected or sent to the Marmol polymer plant. The beads in nutshell filters become saturated with oil and need to be backwashed at regular intervals. This backwash water is stored in the backwash tank. Backwashing consumes a large amount of water and rapidly fills up the backwash tank that needs to be emptied, with water being sent back to the inlet of the station. The fuel gas is used in the water treatment process at different locations, with varying pressures and quantities. In primary treatment, in the IGF, fuel gas is used for oil and water separation. Fuel gas is also used for tank blanketing purpose, to avoid tank vapor venting to atmosphere, and to avoid creating vacuum during pumping out the tank. Blanketing gas consumption significantly increases during nutshell filters backwash, or when the backwash tank is emptied. At those times, the level decreases relatively fast in some tanks, requiring a much higher demand on fuel gas, resulting in fuel gas pressure dropping at the supply side. And finally, fuel gas is supplied for the flare pilot and the purge of the flare header and stack. There is high and a low fuel gas supply pressure safeguarding installed at the inlet in the water treatment plant, which is designed to shut down the plant. Also, it is important to understand all fixed-roof tanks are vulnerable to both high negative pressures or vacuum and positive pressures. Even a very small vacuum can lead to collapse. While pumping out the liquid, vacuum gets created due to dropping liquid level, which is generally made up by incoming blanketing fuel gas. In addition, as a final layer of protection to avoid tank damage, pressure vacuum valves are installed on tanks, which pull in air to break the vacuum if the pressure is not made up by the blanketing gas. Take a moment here to understand the full water treatment process. Since the commissioning of the plant, there has been a problem with the fluctuating fuel gas demand. During high demands, that is during backwash, the fuel gas supply pressure frequently dropped below the setting of low pressure safeguard, resulting in total plant trip. By experience, operators knew that usually it took only minutes before fuel gas pressure recovered back to normal. Thus, to avoid frequent plant trips, the low fuel gas pressure safeguarding system was put on override for last 4 years, and this was considered as the new normal. On the 3rd of January at 11 o'clock, the morning prior to the incident, the plant's fuel gas supply pressure control valves were stuck in closed position. While operators and technicians were trying to open the valves, the plant was running out of fuel gas for the IGF filters and tank blanketing. Only fuel gas to the flare remained operational, as it was taken upstream of these stuck control valves. After the incident investigation, it was established that the control valves had got stuck due to corrosion inside, which in turn was caused by the presence of water in the instrument air. The low fuel gas pressure alarm sounded in the control room, but the operators did not manually shut down the plant. The operator's experience was that fuel gas pressure restored by itself, and technicians were anyways working to open the stuck control valve. Further in the day, 7 hours before the incident, the fuel gas pressure dropped to the low pressure safeguarding trip set point. This should normally have stopped operations, amongst others the pumping in and out of the plant. But being on override, it did not trip the plant. 5 hours before the incident, the IGFs tripped individually on low fuel gas pressure, and this stopped the water feed into the plant. However, pumping out from the buffer tank continued lowering its level. The buffer tank pump out continued for 30 minutes, until the tank reached its low level. During this time, with no blanketing fuel gas available to supplement the lost level, the buffer tank went to vacuum condition. The pressure vacuum valve, which is the final safeguard to prevent buckling of the tank under vacuum, opened and allowed air to go into the tank. Since all the tanks are connected via the common blanketing fuel gas supply line, hence all the tanks started to go into vacuum, and the pressure vacuum valves started to open on all the tanks, thus admitting air into each one of them. As from the time the pumping out stopped, the plant was completely down, with no water flow in or out, with air in every tank, but further ingress stopped. The only thing that was still active was the flare. Since all the tanks were connected to each other via the open control valves in the individual fuel gas supply lines, the vapor space in all tanks continued to equalize and mix. Meanwhile, the maintenance crew did not succeed in opening the stuck fuel gas control valve and decided to continue the next day and left the site. The plant was shut down and therefore considered in safe state with the flare lit. During this time, 3 other abnormalities were existing in the process. Firstly, in the morning, for some unknown reason, the outlet valve to the flare from the backwash tank was put into manual mode of operation and opened 100%. This resulted in the backwash tank, which was under vacuum now, lined up both to the fuel gas blanketing supply and to the flare. Secondly, the flare stack is required to be continuously purged with fuel gas to prevent flame reversal. This was not in service, as 2 months before there was a flare overfill incident, which had completely choked the orifice plate in the flare purge line. Third and finally, the flare knockout drum was also bypassed since 2 months for repairs, as the internal coating had been found damaged during inspection. As this plant was designed with a bypass line over the knockout drum, operations continued as liquid release were not expected. During the night time, with falling ambient temperature, the flare header system was cooling down too, and therefore dropping in pressure. Now, the condition was all the tanks had air ingress with slight vacuum, and backwash tank was open to the flare system with no positive flare header fuel gas purge to avoid flashback. It is most likely that the flare flame started travelling back into the flare header, ending up in the backwash water tank, where it then ignited the remaining flammable mixture. A powerful explosion ensued, ripping off the roof of the backwash tank, damaging it completely.